everybody. So I just saw Terminator Dark Fate, and it's actually starting to rain a little bit outside, so if it starts to, I don't know, get loud, then that's what it is. It's slight raindrops right now, but I don't know, it could get worse. I live in Florida. So anyways, yeah, just like all my movie reviews, the spoilers for this movie I will talk about at the end. Right now, no spoilers. Yeah, so I literally just got out of the movie, and I saw it in Dolby. My first time seeing a movie in Dolby Cinema, which I hear is better than IMAX all the time. And I gotta say, sound-wise, I think so. I'm not sure about, screens. Like, I don't know what the difference is between the screen size and all that. But it was awesome. The Dolby experience was definitely worth the extra few bucks. And I decided to do that for this movie in particular because I heard, the action. The action and all that stuff, it's like above average, per se. And I gotta say right away, my favorite part about this movie was the action. The action was spectacular. Definitely the best action in this whole franchise, aside from Terminator 2. Terminator 1 was more of like a horror movie, so there's good action in it, but it's, Terminator 2 obviously is the gold standard for action movies. And this, would be second place for me in the franchise, for at least in terms of action. Earlier today, I had my ranking video, and I said after I see this movie, I will tell you my new ranking. So this is my ranking from worst to best. Okay, so I had Terminator Salvation as the worst, then Genesis, then 3, then 1, and then 2. I think I would put this movie, I figured this would happen. I would put it above 3. So this would be third best, right? So now, worst to best would be Salvation, Genesis, 3, this movie, Dark Fate, Terminator 1, and then Terminator 2. But here's the thing, right? Terminator 1 and 2 are obviously, like, super iconic movies, and, debatably you could say they're masterpieces. I think Terminator 2 is a masterpiece. I wouldn't call 1 a masterpiece, but it's definitely, it's obviously super iconic and groundbreaking. But Terminator 1 and 2 are on a much higher, level than this one. And 2, like I said, is one of my all-time favorites, so nothing's ever going to come close. But the thing with this movie, I will say, like I said, the action was spectacular. Tim Miller, great choice to direct this. And the big hype, obviously. James Cameron returned to be a producer and also a writer, I think, on the movie. So you could definitely tell it's much more in tone, I guess you could say, with the first two. Because Genesis was all over the place. Salvation was kind of a mess also. And Terminator 3, was a whole 180 pretty much, because that was the first one James Cameron didn't do. But this movie, like I said, great action. Linda Hamilton, awesome return. Was totally pleased with how she was in this movie. She did not lose a beat after all these years. Arnold was great. The villain was awesome. I loved him. He's probably the best villain, again, aside from 1 and 2. Arnold in 1 and Robert Patrick in 2. This was the best villain so far, aside from them. They're better, but this guy he did a good job. Gabriel Luna, I think that's his name. He's very, his character was very, unique, I will say. Out of all the villain Terminators we've had, he had the most, personality, and also, I love the idea that he can split into 2. That was really cool. They utilized that well in the action. And I gotta say, the actress, I don't know her name, but she plays, the character that's being hunted, essentially, Danny. She's a good, she reminds me of, Michelle Rodriguez in some ways. She was very good in this. I don't think I've seen her in anything else before. But she was good. And, Mackenzie Davis plays Grace, sort of enhanced human Terminator hybrid thing. She was awesome, too. She was really good. I've seen her in, Blade Runner 2049. And that's pretty much all I know her from. And she had somewhat of a part in that movie, but nothing too huge. But this one, she really stood out. She was definitely one of the better parts. So all the acting across the board was fine. All the main actors, like I just said, were all great. No problem with that. No problem with the action. The pace was good too, I would say. But my main issue is literally, you probably heard this in a couple reviews. The start of the movie, something happens, and I wish that scene could have had a little more. Like, I wish it would have been a little longer. You could have, like, you know, I don't want to say anything yet because it's a spoiler, but that scene, I wish it just happened so fast, you know. I just wish it had more time to, like, for you to, like, get into it and, you know, deal with what happens. But that was honestly my main issue. I was just like, really? Wow. I mean, okay. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know. My main issue, though, with the Terminator franchise overall, it's like they obviously just keep doing the same storyline where they send somebody back, and, you know, it worked so great in the first two. The third one, it kind of got a little old. Salvation, they tried to do something completely different, but it fell flat. Genesis was just a huge mess of everything. So it's like they kind of went back to basics, but, like, at least they upped the action. I do like that, and a lot more Terminator action, because technically the girl Danny, she's got 3 protectors, and then the villain is technically 2 separate. So you got a lot more, like, variables there with, like, a bigger amount of characters that could all fight each other. So that's cool. Yeah, it's starting to rain a little more now. But anyways, yeah, I mean, honestly, my biggest gripe was that beginning scene, and then just how it was executed. Like, I don't know, they could have did a little better job showing that. And I don't know, I'm kind of getting tired of the whole, you know, the generic plot. I mean, I know that's what Terminator is, but it's just like, I wish they could do something like they did something different in this one, but I wish it could be, like, more different. Like, I don't know. Yeah, what was I going to say? I was going to say something. Well, okay, you know what it is? They always send back somebody, you know, to kill whoever's going to be a huge part in the Resistance, right? Like, John Connor was the leader of the Resistance. So I feel like instead of that repeated over and over again, why don't the humans in the present time try to prevent Skynets? I mean, obviously they did that in Terminator 2, but, like, they should focus more on that, because if you prevent the whole world ending thing, there's going to be no sending people back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they should focus more on that, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Terminator 3 was kind of like, well, it's inevitable, so. I mean, I don't know. It's just a weird thing. Like, this franchise, after 35 years, actually. Yeah, 35. It's like, I don't know. It's, like, still the same thing. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, other than that, like, the movie was very solid. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. I'd like to give it an 8.5, because the thing with this, obviously, Terminator 1 and 2, you know, James Cameron's coming back for this one in a way. It kind of made me have high expectations. And I mean, you know, my expectations were met in some way, but I don't know. I just don't feel like I love it. I wanted to love this, and I should have known better, but I mean, yeah, I think 8 out of 10. I want to go 8.5, but I think 8's fine. It wasn't anything too spectacular, but the action was really good, and all the acting was great. I love the characters. Yeah, so honestly, there's more to talk about in the spoilers for me. So I'm going to end the review right here and then go on to spoilers now. So go see the movie if you're a Terminator fan for sure. I would say the Terminator 1 and 2 fans will be pleased with this for the most part. Yeah. But anyways. Alright, so I'm going to talk about spoilers now. So please leave the video if you haven't seen this. Go check it out. See it in Dolby. It was really good. And yeah, so here we go. Spoilers. Alright. So obviously my main issue was how you know what? I figured they'd kill John Connor, because in all the marketing, all the posters, all the trailers, you don't see any John Connor. And this is supposed to be a sequel to Terminator 2. And Edward Furlong was revealed to be in the movie, but, you know, they revealed also it's only for a short scene. It's very brief. And I figured, all right, going into this movie, he's going to die. Like, I mean, there's a new target now, Danny, right? So my prediction was like, okay, they're going to show John getting assassinated somehow, getting killed, and now, since there's no John, some other person takes over as the leader of the Resistance. It must be Danny, right? And they reveal, yes, she is, like, she's not, like, the leader per se, but she sparks what happens, you know, eventually. So I figured that would happen, and I'm like, okay, so that's what it is. Now Sarah feels obligated to protect her, and yeah, so that is what happens. And just the way it was handled. Like, you see, like, obviously in the first scene, they were doing the digital de-aging. It took place in, like, 1998 or something like that. So a couple of years after Terminator 2. Because I think Terminator 2 takes place in 95, if I'm correct. So a couple of years have passed. You know, Linda Hamilton de-aged to look, you know, like young Sarah Connor. And I assume they got, you know, Edward Furlong. I know they used a body double for that young Arnold and the young John Connor. They use body doubles for those two, but they obviously put the facial recognition likeness on them. So I guess Edward Furlong was used in some way. It wasn't actually him, though, that played that kid, but like, I'm sure it costs a lot of money to obviously de-age somebody for a scene. Like, the de-aging on them wasn't, like, spectacular. It wasn't obviously Captain Marvel level when they de-aged Sam Jackson. That was really good, but I don't know. It didn't look like as good as that, and I think that's why the scene had to be so short. Maybe it's because they couldn't, you know, it's like every second you see de-aging on screen, it costs this amount of money, you know. And this movie's already huge, so, you know, they can't just allocate all the money towards this one scene at the beginning. But I just wish there was more time to breathe with that. Maybe show a little bit of, oh, here's Sarah and John living in what was it, Guatemala, and then, you know, just a couple minutes with them at least, and then all of a sudden the Terminator shows up and kills them. Or kills him, I should say. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's just very jarring. And, you know, I wanted to be, you know, as a lifelong fan, you know, you figured, you know, you get very emotional at losing John Connor. The Edward Furlong version of John Connor. But, you know, it was sad. But since it happened so suddenly and since it wasn't a surprise to me, I mean, I was a little sad. But, yeah, I don't know. I just wish they handled that scene a little bit better. It reminded me of, like, you know, the beginning, if you've never seen the Jason Bourne movies, at least the first two, I should say, the beginning of Bourne Supremacy, the second one, when a certain character gets killed at the very beginning and they're living off separately. You know, I don't want to, if you haven't seen the movies, you might not want to listen to this, but, yeah, the way they handled that at the beginning of the Bourne Supremacy, it really reminded me of this. Or this reminded me of that, I should say. They should have handled it like that. Dedicate a little bit of the beginning of the movie to that at least. Like a decent, maybe couple minutes. Like 10 minutes. I don't know. Maybe a little less. But, I don't know. Just, that scene just really bothered me. Just the way it was handled and executed. Like, I don't know. That was, like I said, that was my biggest gripe. I just wish they handled it a little better. Like, I can accept they wanted to kill John and, you know, change it and whatnot. But, yeah, that just, you know. But regardless, though, like I said, I love the Carl character, the T-800. His redemption at the end, you know, for John, that was, you know, that was very well done. Arnold was great in this. I love, you know, obviously he killed John. And I figured, too, going into the movie, okay, there's an aging Terminator. Maybe, is that the one that would supposedly kill John and, you know, went on to live his life and stuff? And it turned out it was. But I like that, and they actually had him have a family, too, which is funny, and, you know, he was very funny in the movie. So Arnold was great. I love that addition, and that redemption. Sarah was great also, of course. I'm glad she didn't die at the end. Now, I assume they're going to do sequels, it looks like, because, you know, they drive off, and what's next? They could easily do sequels, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But now it's like, okay, is Arnold going to be involved? Because Skynet version of Terminators don't exist anymore. So, like, the Arnold versions don't exist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they're going to, what they're going to do next. But, I mean, you know, I doubt this is the ending. But if this is the ending, I mean, better off with Terminator 2's ending? I don't know. Like, you know, in my mind, I still want to say Terminator 1 and 2 are the only ones that happened. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. As an ending to the franchise, I wouldn't say this is a good ending. But it doesn't look like it's the ending, so, you know, whatever. I can't say that's a complaint. But, yeah, I don't know. And the villain, like I said, was awesome, and I love all his... he was intimidating, he was funny, he was very good. And the way they killed him was, like, crazy. He was unstoppable. Like, Jesus. Like, I assume, you know, they can only send back one Terminator at a time, obviously, and the machine... I'm assuming the time machine that they use cannot handle sending several at once. I'm guessing that's the only reason why. Imagine if they sent several of those Rev 9s. Jesus Christ. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just like the same old again, which you kind of have to do. But, you know, I wish they would find some sort of way to innovate the story and make it different. I mean, this one was a little different, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I talked about the major spoiler with John Connor already, and yeah, but that's about it, I guess. I don't know, 15 minutes is good enough. So let me know what you guys thought of Terminator Dark Fate in the comments, and if you agree with anything I said, especially the beginning of the movie, which was, but yeah, I mean, if they do another sequel, I hope it's, you know, they do something innovative, and I like the character of Danny, and then now she has Sarah teaming up with her, so, you know what, the sequel could be good, or sequels, I should say, whatever. But yeah, 8 out of 10 I think is fair. That's how I feel right now. I wanted to love this movie, but I don't love it. But I think 8 out of 10 is good, so that's about it. And thanks for watching. I got a whole bunch of, you know what, actually today, on my way to see the movie, they released a new Terminator Pops. I don't know why they haven't made Terminator Pops for the first 2 movies. They should, like a T-1000 or, you know, young Sarah Connor. We got the old Sarah Connor here. So I'm going to have unboxings for all these, of course, right here. So there's Carl. I wish I would have said Carl, actually. That would have been funny. These are the only Terminator Pops we've ever had. I know Funko has made the little reaction figures, those tiny ones. They've made those based off Terminator 1 and 2. But they've never made Pops based off Terminator 1 and 2. I don't know if it's like some sort of legal thing, or I don't know. But they should definitely make Pops for Terminator 1 and 2. That'd be nice. I will buy all of them, because I bought all these ones. And I know there was a Sarah Connor chase, but obviously that sold out already. So, yeah, so stay tuned for unboxings for those. And I got the new Chucky and Michael Myers Pops yesterday on Halloween, so I'll unbox those. So 5 Pop videos to expect soon. What else am I going to be doing? I don't think I'm going to be doing anything. Oh, Hobbs and Shaw, I think, comes out on the 5th, and I think it actually shipped today in the mail, which is kind of early, right? Wait, today's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Oh, no, actually, no, it did ship. Yeah, Friday. It sounds about right. No, it did ship. Well, no, actually, sometimes stuff ships on Wednesday and comes here on Friday. I'm not going to complain, though. It's still shipped early, so it's probably going to come on Monday. So expect a video for Hobbs and Shaw. But anyways, that's it for the review. Thanks for watching, and that's it. Bye-bye.